German engineers didn't build tanks. They built engineering masterpieces that broke down, ran out of fuel, and couldn't be repaired. Subscribe to see how perfectionism destroyed the Panzerwaffe. This is how Germany's obsession with perfect tanks cost them everything. Let's start with light tanks, where the disease first appeared. Panzer I, the training disaster. OSF A featured a complex twin-turret system and unreliable Krupp engine. OSF B stretched the hull and added a Maybach engine requiring completely different parts. OSF C introduced torsion bar suspension incompatible with earlier models. Pressed into combat during Poland and France, the 5.4-ton design failed constantly at high speeds, yet engineers never simplified it. Panzer II, 9 variants of chaos. OSF A featured a La S100 gearbox. OSF B added different suspension springs. OSF C introduced a new 140 HP engine requiring different spare parts. OSF D and E were reconnaissance variants with Christie suspension and torsion bars, completely incompatible with earlier models. OSF F upgraded armor but kept the same engine. OSF G removed the turret entirely for a reconfigured gun system. OSF J featured sloped armor costing double to produce. OSF L was a reconnaissance variant with different wheels. Field mechanics faced 9 completely different tanks all called Panzer II. A transmission from OSF C wouldn't fit. OSF F Afrika Korps mechanics spent hours identifying which variant before attempting repair. Panzer 35T, Czech reliability destroyed. The original Skoda design featured reliable pneumatic transmission. German modifications added heavier armor and equipment, increasing weight 20% while drives remained unchanged. Panzer 38T, reliable until Germany touched it. OSF A through G progressively added armor and equipment. OSF S was a reconnaissance variant. Each modification increased weight on unchanged final drives. The reliable Czech chassis collapsed under German perfectionism. But light tanks were just the beginning. Medium tanks weighing 25 tons would reveal the disease spreading. Medium tanks exposed how perfectionism paralyzed German armor from within. Panzer III, 15 incompatible versions. OSF A through C mounted 37 guns with different engines and suspensions. OSF D introduced a redesigned hull. OSF E through G upgraded the 37 with improved optics requiring different ammunition storage. OSF H through J mounted 15 short guns with new turrets. OSF N mounted a 75 howitzer in a redesigned turret. Each variant required specific parts, ammunition types, and sighting systems. Afrika Korps tanks in the same company couldn't share ammunition because weapons were incompatible. The hull started at 15 tons with OSF A and reached 23 tons with OSF and same final drives throughout. Working tanks sat immobilized waiting for variant-specific parts. Panzer IV successful failure. OSF A featured a short 75 and weighed 18 tons. OSF B through D progressively added armor. OSF E introduced a new transmission. OSF F upgraded the hull design. OSF G mounted the long 75 gun with additional armor. OSF H added side skirts and thicker plates. OSF J eliminated the electric turret traverse to save resources, forcing manual hand cranking. Final weight reached 25 tons on drives designed for 18. Late war manuals warned crews to avoid sharp turns because drives couldn't handle combat weight. Panther, the 150-kilometer death sentence. OSF D debuted at Kursk with catastrophic mechanical failures. OSF A improved the transmission but inherited the interleaved wheel design that froze solid in Russian winter. OSF G simplified production but consumed the same resources Germany couldn't provide. Designed for 45 tons, combat loaded at 48 tons, final drives rated for 35 tons. Average drive life, 150 kilometers. Kursk, July 1943, 200 Panthers deployed. 160 broke down within 48 hours from mechanical failures, not enemy fire. But medium tank disasters were nothing compared to 70-ton monsters coming next. Heavy tanks revealed perfectionism's ultimate cost. Engineering triumphs became battlefield coffins. Tiger I, the maintenance monster. OSF E was the only production variant, but featured constant running changes creating subvariants requiring different parts. Early production used rubber-rimmed road wheels. Mid-production switched to steel wheels. Late production modified the cupola design. The Maybach HL230 engine consumed 450 liters per 100 kilometers. Complex Alvar steering required 2 hours warming up in cold weather. Tunisia, 1943, British captured multiple Tigers intact. abandoned by crews from fuel starvation, not combat damage. The 88mm gun destroyed any Allied tank, but Tigers spent more time immobilized by complexity than fighting. Tiger II, engineering insanity. OSP featured two distinct turret variants creating nightmare logistics. The first 50-mounted Porsche's curved turret with a shot trap that deflected rounds downward into thin roof armor, killing crews with their own design flaw. Henschel's flat-faced turret fixed this after 50 crews paid with their lives. At 70 tons, final drives lasted 50 to 80 kilometers before catastrophic failure. Ardennes, December 1944, Kampfgruppe papers 6 King Tigers couldn't cross bridges, their weight exceeding every rating. Paper abandoned all 6 intact. American forces captured them without firing a shot, Germany's best weapon defeated by its own weight. Ferdinand Elephant, the blind giant. The original 90 Ferdinands mounted 88 guns behind 200 in frontal armor but lacked machine guns for close defense. After Kursk disaster where Soviet infantry climbed on top dropping grenades, survivors were retrofitted with bow machine guns and renamed Elephant. Of 90 deployed at Kursk, 39 were lost to infantry with grenades, not Soviet tanks. The sophisticated petrol-electric drive failed constantly. At 65 tons, recovery was impossible. But these disasters were rational compared to Germany's final madness approaching. Germany's final tanks proved engineers learned nothing. Each design became more perfect and more useless. Panther, the inherited flaw. Built on the Panther chassis, OS G1 featured the Panther's interleaved wheels that froze in winter. OS G2 modified the design but inherited the 150-kilometer final drive problem. At 46 tons mounting an 88 gun, most broke down before reaching combat. The perfect balance of speed, armor, and firepower couldn't fight when it couldn't move. Tiger, destroyer that never destroyed. OSF A and OSF B variants differed in minor details but shared catastrophic weight. At 71 tons mounting a 128 gun, each consumed resources for 5 Panthers. Only 79 total were produced. Most never reached front lines, breaking down during rail transport or running out of fuel during road marches. March 1945, American forces found dozens intact on German roads, abandoned without firing a shot because fuel didn't exist and parts couldn't arrive. Mouse insanity made steel. Prototype 1 and Prototype 2 were the only examples completed. At 188 tons, the Mouse couldn't cross any European bridge, requiring snorkel systems to drive across river bottoms underwater. Final drives designed for 120 tons carried 188 tons, guaranteed immediate failure. It consumed fuel Germany didn't have to move at speeds, making it a sitting target for Allied air power. As Soviets approached testing grounds, Germans destroyed Prototype 1, Soviets captured Prototype 2. The world's heaviest tank never fired a shot in anger. Sherman final drives lasted 1,600 kilometers. T drives lasted 2,000 kilometers. German tanks required factory facilities if parts existed. Germany built for perfection. Allies built for war. From lightest Panzer I to 188-ton Maus, every German tank shared the fatal flaw, designed for perfection, destroyed by reality. Which failure shocked you most? Let me know in the comments.